Should we wait to file our marriage-based green card? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in San Diego, St. Louis, and Washington, D.C. In today's video, we're going to answer a question that's been coming up a lot on our Immigration Answers show and in our Facebook group, and that is, when should we file for the marriage-based green card case? Some people want to know, do we file right after we get married? Some people want to know, do we file months later? When is the best time to file for the green card? We're going to tackle that issue in today's video. So let's talk about the typical case. So typically we have a U.S. citizen or a green card holder who's living here in the United States. They're minding their own business when all of a sudden they find themselves in love with a foreign national. The relationship develops and they decide to get married. They get married and then they begin the immigration process. Typically this involves filing a set of forms, the I-130 petition, the 45 application for adjustment of status, the work card application, the travel document, and those are all sent into USCIS. The foreign national is then given their biometrics or fingerprinting appointment. Then a background check is completed. Then the case is scheduled for an interview eventually. The couple goes to the local field office and has their green card interview. Then hopefully everything gets approved and the green card is issued. That would be a 2-year green card because the couple would have been married less than 2 years. That's sort of what happens in many, many cases. That's the typical situation, as my friend Dave Matthews would say. Now, not everybody handles their things typically. Life is complicated. Life is messy. You would never believe that even after all these years of practicing immigration law, I still hear of scenarios regarding relationships and immigration benefits that I've never heard before. It's all good. Everything can work out and everything sort of fits a general pattern, but it's surprising how oftentimes there is that typical situation and then how many different ways people find themselves in a scenario. And so what we're talking about today is people that want to wait a little bit to file. Now, one reason why you would wait to file is because your relationship is not that old. You haven't been together all that long. Now, that would beg the question, why did you get married so quickly? So that's something you're always going to have to overcome. If I were consulted before the marriage actually occurred and the couple had a relatively short history together, say just a few months, I might encourage them to wait a little bit to develop more of a relationship, to develop more evidence of that relationship, and then to get married and then to file. So one reason why you might want to file even after you've gotten married quickly is to give yourself more time to develop evidence. So you could wait. You don't necessarily have to file right after marriage. And I think a lot of times it shows that you're not desperate to do that when you do wait. So there are a lot of benefits to waiting. It gives you more chance to get more evidence. It gives the relationship some heft to it, some weight to it to demonstrate that it is, in fact, a legitimate marriage. A second reason why you might wait to file for your marriage-based green card is that the foreign-born spouse, the beneficiary, the person who's trying to get the immigration benefit, they might have long-term non-immigrant status. They might be here on an E2 visa, or they might be here on an F1 as studying as a student. They might be doing their STEM work, right? So they would not necessarily have to file for their green card right away. And if you wait a while, you might even be able to get a 10-year green card instead of a 2-year green card. And we're going to talk about that. But the main reason why you would wait is because you simply don't need to file right away. The person might not graduate from college for 2 or 3 years, or they might have just had their E2 visa renewed and they're running their business. There are different reasons why you might not necessarily apply for the green card right away. And one of those is to just develop more evidence, and because there's no rush, there's no gun to your head because the foreign national has this non-immigrant visa status in their back pocket. And then that last reason is for people who have already waited for a long time. So when we talk to people who've been married for a year or a year and a half, we might tell them to wait just a little bit longer to apply, because if you hit the 2-year anniversary of your marriage and you haven't been awarded your conditional permanent residence yet, you haven't received that 2-year green card, if it gets approved after that 2-year anniversary, you're going to get a 10-year green card. Then you're going to have to not file the I-751. You're going to be relieved of filing to get the conditions removed. You're going to have an automatic 10-year green card. And that's going to save you some money and a lot of headache and a lot of paperwork 2 years down the line. So those are the 3 main scenarios where you might want to wait to file for your marriage-based green card right away. All that being said, generally I encourage people to apply as soon as they can. Unless there's some compelling reason like the ones we've just discussed, generally I'm going to advise that you file for that immigration benefit sooner rather than later. The main reason for that is that USCIS is just so backlogged right now. Cases are taking so long that you can be a little bit too cute and try to be a little bit too manipulative, trying to control exactly when your case is going to get approved. And I think that leads to problems. So if you're facially eligible, even if you have that long-term non-immigrant visa status, I would encourage you to file sooner rather than later. Get the ball rolling. It takes so darn long for USCIS to do anything quickly that you're probably going to be a whole lot better off if you go ahead and apply sooner rather than later. If you have any questions about this, feel free to give us a call, 314-961-8200. You can email us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. You know, we have our Facebook group. There's about 8,000 people in there. We'd love to have you join that Facebook group and to share whatever immigration journey you're under. And we also have our YouTube channel. We have thousands of videos where we're answering immigration law related questions all the time. And then don't forget our Immigration Answer Show, where we actually have a call-in show where you can call up and ask me anything you want about immigration, and I'll do my best to answer it for free. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.